So what has wrestling taught me? Wrestling taught me how to work hard every day during the season, going up in that big blue room, sweating and getting pushed to your absolute limit. Trying to keep a really good mindset is really tough. Wrestling has also taught me how to be very dedicated to something. You have to lift in the off season, and you have to wrestle in the off season. Wrestling has also taught me how to be a better person. Since I was in pre-K, I've been around good coaches and good teammates. So without those guys, I don't think I would be like who I am today.
Setting goals and hard work ethic will get you very far in life. And achieving those goals is very important too.
The biggest lesson that I've gotten out of wrestling is being tough and being able to get through each and everything. You might be in like tough spots in your life or in a sport. You know, sports are just to have fun, and it's all just a game and to get us ready for life. And I think that wrestling has taught me how to be able to get through the tough spots in life and be able to get on with life and look at it in a good and better way.
The biggest lesson I've learned from wrestling is that if you want to achieve your goals, you have to be willing to do things other people aren't.
Anyone can really get out of wherever they are and achieve more and become a lot better than what they were, as long as they want to.
Probably the biggest lesson that wrestling has taught me is that hard work, no matter where you are in life, it always helps and it will get you there to where you want to be. But the tricky part about it is that you won't always see the result that you want right away. Delayed gratitude is the term, where, you know, if I work my whole life at something and I achieve my goal years down the road, all that hard work in the moment, I might not have thought it was worth it, but in the end it was, because I accomplished my goal.
It's important to fight through adversity, and when adversity comes your way, you have to just fight through it and do your best, because if you don't do your best, the result is not going to be very good. Also, picking the harder option in your training or anything in life, usually the harder option is the right option, and the end result will be greater than the weaker option. I mean, the weak option is always the easiest, but if you pick the hard way, again, your end result will be the best.
What was the most memorable moment in my wrestling career? This came last year after the tragic accident happened and we went to sectionals. When we got there, we realized how many people who weren't even from St. Croix Falls had St. Croix Falls gear on supporting us. And when you looked in the St. Croix Falls cheer section, it was filled top to bottom with people there cheering us on, supporting us, and that was super, super cool. Fortunately, I made to state that day, and it was a very emotional day for everyone. And I'll just never, ever forget that day and how our super strong community came together.
The most memorable moment I've had in wrestling was going to team state for the first year of my freshman year. And that was something that our wrestling program has never done, and that's what made it super special.
There's so many good memories with like all the guys and stuff, but I honestly have to think that some of the best memories came from staying at hotels. One time in particular, I was rooming with Kyle Ziem, Tanner, and Logan Yura, and Kyle and Tanner got into a fist fight, and so that was probably, you know, it was a little dangerous, but it was probably one of the best and funniest times I've had, like, now looking back at it. Otherwise, riding back on the bus is always fun because you get to talk with people and you don't have any stress on you, and it's just, there's so many good memories.
The most memorable moment I have in wrestling is winning a state title my freshman year.
Last year, Kyle Ziem one day before practice was kicking a volleyball up and down with his foot, and he accidentally ended up kicking it too hard, and it shot up and it hit one of the fluorescent lights, and the glass then sprinkled down onto him and our wrestling mats that we had the student wrestle on. Luckily, we got that cleaned up before Joel Rager and Dan Clark came upstairs.
Did COVID impact our training?
For me personally, no, not really. I knew I had goals, and I was on a mission, and so I couldn't let COVID hold me back. So I did my best to fight through it, and just keep that, just have tunnel vision on that one, on the prize. And I believe my teammates did a really good job of that as well. We knew what we had to do, and we would try not to get held back. I know other teams, COVID has put an impact on them negatively, and we ended up just battling through it. And with the masks, we handled it really well. We just got used to them, and so it ended up working out really well.
This year, when COVID hit, we didn't know if we were going to have a season yet or not. So we were hoping and praying that we did, and luckily enough, we did. And thanks to Mr. Ryan and the school for allowing us to have wrestling this year. We appreciate it. And once we got the news that we were going to have a season, we knew we would have to train a little bit differently this year.
While wearing the masks, we couldn't run as much, and it was harder on the kids, so we elected to do more strength and get kids stronger for the future, and it worked out pretty good, and practices weren't too bad with the masks on.
COVID definitely had an impact on things, like it did in almost every facet of everyone's life. It was definitely hard to practice social distancing at the same time, as well as still trying to do a close contact sport. The biggest obstacle would have probably been the face mask and having to wrestle with that on, restricting your breathing. But like all things in life, if you just work through it, it usually comes together, and that's how it went for me.
What was state like this year? Really, state felt just like a really, really, really hard tournament. Didn't really feel like actual state. It was really quiet, since there was only about 300 fans compared to the thousands of fans watching you at the Kohl Center. I'm still really grateful we had it, because no one really thought we were going to have state this year. So yeah, I'm really happy the four of us got to go down there and compete at state and all get a medal.
My experience at state this year, it was different, but I had fun. The guys with me had fun, and I'm glad I could do it with those people. It was tough, we all wrestled really well, and it was hard, and the kids down there were good. It wasn't at the Kohl Center, unfortunately, but the kids were still the same, and everyone wanted it the same amount.
And what I've learned throughout this COVID year is that we could still be a successful program and win a lot of matches by not running as much as we did in the past, and more of weightlifting in the middle of the year, which helped us a lot, I think. And that was one of the things that we changed about our training this year because of COVID.
What does this team mean to me, and where would I be today without them? This team means a lot to me. I've been wrestling since kindergarten, and so is pretty much all the rest of the wrestlers, especially the seniors. And the team, the coaches, and then the community around us has all just been great the past 4 years of high school, and I honestly don't think I could be where I am today without the love and support of each and every person.
The team I really care about, and I believe every other guy cares about each other as well. This year we had a very good family, and I believe that's super important in all teams, and I'm really glad that I got the chance to have such a wonderful team this year.
What the team means to me is family, a bond that you won't get doing hardly any other, not just sport, but anything else you do in life, and what you go through with your team in and outside of wrestling is just, it builds a lot of character, and I know that I have these people that I can rely on for the rest of my life.
The wrestling team means so much more than you'd think. It's almost like a second family. You know, I know that every single person on my team I can count on as if they were a brother, and the same goes for me to them. So it's really a unique bond that you create with a group of people. You know, people that you wouldn't expect to be friends with if you weren't bonded by this sport. The relationships it creates are just incredible.
This year's wrestling team meant a lot to me. I feel like this group of guys were one of the closest bunch of teammates I've had throughout high school. And my teammates have pushed me every day in practice and on the mats. And I feel like without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
It's been a run. I'm not done yet. I have one more year. But I mean, it's been a journey, and like battling every single year for 3 months with the boys is not easy. And but I love it. It's my most favorite thing to do is just go out there and wrestle with my team and the guys that I love.
And my wrestling journey has meant a lot to me. I've been in wrestling for about 15 years now, and wrestling is filled with a bunch of ups and downs and twists and turns, and that's the glory of the sport. You know, nothing is given and everything is earned.